Hey guys, just before we start the video, I want to say this is an open spoiler discussion for Monarch Legacy of Monsters. So everything that's going to be discussed in this video does contain spoilers. You have been warned, but let's get to the video, guys. Hey guys, and welcome to the video. This is going to be a casual kind of conversation, discussion, breakdown of the first episode of Monarch Legacy of Monsters. I just watched it last night, guys. I thought it was really, really cool. Yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. The characters were really cool, especially Wyatt Russell. He's always good in most of the stuff that he's in. But guys, let's do a small breakdown. I'm not sure how long this video is going to go for, but let's just discuss some of the main plot points and, just talk about what happened. So it starts off with the main character, Kate, who's on her way to Japan to settle her father's affairs after he mysteriously died. And when she gets to his apartment, she finds out that her father was leading a double life, and there's another family in his apartment when she gets there. And that kind of sets off a whole kind of chain reaction, and then they start discussing, what her father was doing, leading a double life, working for this secret organization, and all this kind of stuff, guys. And it's really, the drama's actually quite interesting. It's kind of weird to be saying this about a Godzilla series, but yeah, so she discovers her father was leading a double life, had another wife and a child when she gets to his apartment. And they continue the conversation. They end up going outside of the apartment, continuing, having an argument about the father cheating on her mother and all this kind of stuff. And then we get our first sirens sounding off in Tokyo. And when they're outside discussing their father, the sirens go off to let them know that there's an impending kaiju attack, which is pretty cool, guys. And then everyone kind of runs into a subway underground where they get ushered into this kind of underground bunker subway. And it's really, really cool, guys. It's very reminiscent of like World War II, when everybody heard the air raid sirens and they had to run into the bunkers, to avoid being bombed. It's very much similar to that. But instead of being bombed, obviously, from airplanes, it's an impending kaiju attack. So seeing that was really cool, guys. It's kind of realistic as to what would happen in real life. If you were walking in the street and you heard the sirens of an impending kaiju attack, you would have to rush into an underground bunker. And it's very, very realistic take on the kind of, the Godzilla mythos. So I really kind of enjoyed that, guys. So, guys, after our main character, Kate, is now down in the subway after the sirens have alerted everyone to an impending kaiju attack, she begins to have flashbacks to 2014 when Godzilla was attacking the San Francisco bridge. And she was on a school bus at the time full of students, and Godzilla begins, decimating the bridge. And she helps all of the students off the bus, and Godzilla obviously continues his destruction of the bridge. And then once Godzilla has disappeared, these Monarch agents begin showing up, taking pictures, taking radiation readings, and she notices the Monarch patch on their arms, which is quite cool, guys. And then, I think it's some sort of form of PTSD that she had, but then I think anybody who was in that situation in real life would definitely have PTSD from that. Post-traumatic stress disorder, for those guys who are not sure what the acronym means. We then cut back to the 1950s, where we have Lee Shaw's character, we have Kate, the main character's grandmother, and some other gentlemen that she's married to. They're all researchers, and they go into an exclusion zone in search of radiation signatures, and they're kind of, trying to work out where these radiation signals are coming from, what's the cause of it. So they go into the exclusion zone. They find an almost kind of like Chernobyl power plant that's either had a meltdown or, been decommissioned. And they go in to further investigate. So that's our first jump back to the 1950s, guys. It then cuts to back to the present, where we have the main character, Kate, and her newly discovered kind of half-brother. They find their father's work office. And then they come across a safe that's in the wall, like a wall safe, and she basically starts doing combinations to the safe, like different birthdays, different numbers that might be significant to her father. She manages to open the safe in his office, and inside there is the kind of like a luggage case that has the Monarch symbol on it, and inside there's loads of data drives from the 1970s. So guys, what they do next, they then enlist the help of a local kind of hacker or tech wizard, if you like, who was romantically involved with the main character's half-brother. That's kind of a whole subplot that goes on, but it's not really that interesting. And then basically they go back to this hacker's apartment, they tried to get into these data drives that was inside the Monarch luggage case. They managed to find out that there's loads of redacted files. There's all of these different investigation files about, different cryptids, different monsters, and all this kind of stuff. One of the things that was on the files that they managed to find was Monarch were investigating Bigfoot. Apparently, Bigfoot is real in the Monsterverse, guys, which is kind of crazy, but kind of cool at the same time. And then while they're investigating these files from these 1970 data drives, Monarch gets a ping, like a security ping, because there's a security device attached to these data drives. So Monarch now knows that our main characters are in possession of these, these classified Monarch files. So that sets in motion that Monarch are now going to try and track down our lead characters to, apprehend them and get back their Monarch, classified data drives. Again, guys, we cut back to the 1950s, where the researchers are now inside the abandoned power plant, inside the exclusion zone that they went to investigate. And while they're inside, they discover that down below in the lower levels, there is these kind of orange glowing egg sacs, if you like. And one of the researchers, which is Kate, the main character, her grandmother, who's one of the scientists, she wants to get a DNA sample because it's a brand new species that they've never seen before. So, to the behest of the other two researchers, she kind of goes down to the lower levels where these egg sacs are. She tries to get a DNA sample. And then during the time when she's trying to get the DNA swab from one of the egg sacs, the earth begins to tremble. There's like earthquakes. And then all of a sudden, the egg sacs begin to split open. All of the insectoids that are inside come out of their egg sacs. I call them endoswarmers. I read that online somewhere. They're called endoswarmers, which is a really cool name. I don't know if it's the official title, but I'm going to call them that anyway. So these insectoids hatch from their egg sacs and then basically start pursuing the researchers. They begin to scramble out of the power plant to try and escape the endoswarmer insects. And unfortunately, one of the researchers succumbs to the swarm. And then we cut to black, and that's the end of the first episode, guys. So, yeah, that's kind of my little breakdown and discussion about, some of the plot points that happened. I really enjoyed the episode. I thought it was great, showing how, Japan is now living with the constant monster threat or kaiju threat, in everyday life, having to hide in shelters and all this kind of stuff, which is really cool. And then having the flashbacks to the 50s, showing the main character's grandmother and how she started researching kaijus back in the 50s. That's a really cool tie-in. Yeah, so I really enjoyed the first episode, guys. I'm sorry if, it wasn't in chronological order or I missed out some of the nuances or some of the plot points, but I tried to do my best to cover all of what I deemed to be the most important points of the first episode. So, guys, jump into the comment section. Let me know what you think about this. Did you see the first episode? What stood out for you? What did you enjoy? And is there anything that you didn't like so much about it? I'd love to hear what you have to say, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you soon.